When I cut off the cash flow, my family's unconditional love evaporated overnight. I turned my role from the family's silent benefactor to their harshest debt collector, leaving them to face the bills and the reality they had ignored for years. The cycle of exploitation was a well-oiled machine. Every Monday, my mother would send a good morning, sunshine text that inevitably transitioned into a "the roof is leaking" or "I'm short on property taxes" demand by noon. The golden boy, my younger brother, didn't even bother with the pleasantries. He would simply send Venmo requests for groceries that were always priced suspiciously close to the cost of a new gaming console. I was the financial foundation for a house built on entitlement. For 5 years, I covered my mother's luxury health insurance and funded my brother's gap years, which had somehow turned into a gap decade. I was told I was the responsible one, a title that really just meant I was the only one with a job. The breaking point arrived on a Tuesday. My son woke up with a 103-degree fever and a cough that sounded like a gravel pit. My wife was 3 states away for a career-defining conference, and I had a 1 p.m. meeting with the board of directors, the kind of meeting where absence is treated as a resignation. I didn't need money. I needed a pair of eyes and a warm heart for 5 measly hours. I called my mother. The grandmother of my son told me she had already committed to a brunch with her gardening club and simply couldn't let the girls down. I called my brother. My son's uncle laughed and said he'd had a few too many drinks the night before and was in no state to watch a crying kid. The people who lived off my sweat couldn't spare a single afternoon to help the person who bought their time. I stayed home. I held the sick child while my phone buzzed with missed calls from my angry boss. As I watched my son sleep, I realized I was paying for a family that was actually just a group of high-priced acquaintances. The revenge was silent and digital. That night, I didn't scream. I logged into my accounts. I revoked the authorized user status on the credit cards held by the entitled duo. I sent a formal 30-day notice to my mother stating that the deed to the condo which I owned was being handed over to a property management firm. I canceled the premium cable, the high-speed internet, and the recurring car wash memberships I'd been subsidizing for the leeches. The fallout was a symphony of outrage. My mother showed up at my door not to check on the sick child, but to demand why her card was declined at the salon. My brother sent a flurry of texts claiming I was violating the family bond because he couldn't pay his phone bill to keep playing his games. I looked my mother in the eye and told her that since she was so busy with her girls, she'd have plenty of time to find a new place to live. I told my brother that his gap decade is officially over. I took the money I used to waste on the ungrateful and put it into a high-yield account for my son. The wallet with legs has retired, and for the first time in years, my house is quiet, my bank account is full, and the parasites are finally learning the cost of living. Subscribe for more.